Have you ever prayed for strength, courage, or discipline, wanting to level up and be better, only to face more obstacles, more hurdles, and what feels like more setbacks? Well, what if I told you that's the answer to your prayers? You do not just get more patience, you do not just become stronger or have more discipline. You are tested and given opportunities to develop those skills. And that's something I want to talk about today, because when you are in the midst of these setbacks, of these hurdles, and of these tests, it feels like you are never going to cross the finish line or arrive and feel stronger or more courageous, more disciplined, or more patient. But if you reframe the way you look at them, if you change your attitude, you look at them as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks, you are able to use those muscles, develop them, and become the person that you want to be. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have you here, especially for today's topic. This is something I have been focusing on in my personal life for probably all of 2024. So if you are new, I have talked a lot about discipline. I have talked about a lot about communication, a lot of different things that I navigate in my personal life. I have learned over years of being an entrepreneur, and I am excited to share them with you. So if you have not subscribed, now is the time. Hit subscribe, like, follow, all that good stuff. You can also find me on social media at Ofori-Attah, and I share a lot more of my personal life there as well. So today we are going to dive into facing the hardest challenges and realizing these are the greatest opportunities in your life. If you are feeling like you are in the midst of a test, maybe the same test you've been in, something you've been repeating and you can't figure out how to get out of it, it's likely because you are given the opportunity to grow stronger, to develop a muscle and a skill that you have been wanting, but you haven't arrived yet because you haven't shifted your perspective. We together are going to shift our perspective and understand how we can change our outlook on setbacks, on these hurdles, and all these things that feel like they're holding us back, whereas we can actually use them to propel us forward. For myself, I often am asking for more patience. I'm often asking for more strength and a lot more clarity in my discipline skills and how I can use discipline in my daily life. Discipline has been a big thing for me because discipline has given me this opportunity for freedom and to understand my life on a deeper and better level in order to achieve the things that I've set myself out to and to become the person that I want to be. But when I ask for these things, they don't just happen overnight. I will pray about them, I will meditate on them, I will be manifesting them, and they don't just suddenly appear. I've realized the pattern is when I am asking for the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to become more disciplined, more patient. As an Aries, that is an area I struggle with. To become more courageous, a lot of times I don't just feel like I am smooth sailing and arriving. I actually feel like I'm going backwards, that I am struggling, that I am being as impatient as I have ever been, or the least disciplined and most chaotic in my life ever. As I've been able to reflect on this, I've realized those are the opportunities that have been given to me to develop these skills that I so badly desire, but I have to work at. Because as we know, nothing just comes easy in life, and good things do come when you are working towards a goal. You are committed to progress and not perfection, so that you will eventually arrive at the other end of your goal and this finish line of feeling more patient until the next test comes to test your patience yet again. So like I said, the biggest thing you want to realize is when you are asking for a new characteristic, a new trait, a new muscle to start working on, you are going to see opportunity for growth. You are not just going to see that arrive overnight. You need to slow down, take a step back, and recognize what is happening in your life when you are asking for this opportunity for growth. You have to wade through the muck, the mud, the stickiness of developing this muscle to arrive on the other side to realize that you have strengthened this muscle of dedication to whatever it is, maybe courageousness, strength, patience, all of these different good things, but it's not something that you are just going to wake up and receive like a Christmas present. The reality is when we are trying to develop something new, a new skill, a new hobby even, it takes time. And we need to look at it as something that we want to flex, like a muscle. So if you think about going to the gym, you're not just going to pick up 200 pounds and lift that no problem. For me, I started with 5-pound weights, which feels like a baby weight in the grand scheme of things, but 5 pounds is a very great starting place to start to work a muscle, start to build that muscle and understand what that muscle takes to arrive on the other side. As we are working this muscle, we also need to look at it as a seed. Oftentimes you plant a seed before summer has come, way before the harvest is even possible. So when we think of these things in our personal life, these new characteristics and traits that we are trying to develop, we need to understand it's the same process as planting a seed. You're doing this in wet soil, in the springtime, when things aren't looking so bright, when things aren't feeling so good, and you are trusting and believing if you care for that seed, you care for that soil, you will see that harvest. And that's how we need to reframe our ability to grow. It is not something that happens overnight. It is something that we need to plant, commit to watering, nurturing, and staying steadfast through all of the dark days, the storms, even those hot days that come until we can reap the harvest. So by looking at these obstacles and challenges as a muscle that you are learning to train, a seed that you are planting and you are going to nurture and help grow, is all a part about reframing your perspective. A lot of times we feel like life is unfair. We are sitting in a challenge, we are feeling like we are being tested, that we are facing the same hurdle and obstacle over and over again, and it's easy to get caught up in the woe is me and why is this happening to me? Rather than allowing ourselves to sit in that place, we want to change our perspective and look at this as an opportunity for growth. This isn't something that's happening to us, it's something that is happening for us. For the opportunity to change, to develop a stronger muscle of courage, of compassion, of discipline, of patience. And it's allowing us to develop into the person that we so dearly want to be, which is why we are asking for this and receiving these challenges. One of the best ways to shift your perspective is to slow down. We can often get caught up in a pace that is not sustainable, especially when it comes to trying to grow and trying to achieve new goals and reach our dreams. When you slow down and you look around yourself and realize you're in the midst of an opportunity, the midst of a challenge, the midst of a hurdle, you are able to recognize that this is a test that you are going to work on passing. And again, we are going to focus on progression and not perfection, because nothing perfect ever happens, even when we are trying our best. So slow down, reflect on what you asked for, whether it was courage or patience or kindness or compassion, whatever it may be, and start to look at the situation you're in and understand where you are given this opportunity to start practicing that and start slowing down and using that as your first response rather than your last response. For me, this often comes into journaling or meditating or just giving myself the opportunity to reflect on the day and see the different places in the day that I was given this opportunity to slow down, that I was able to reflect and able to recognize what was happening around me rather than to feeling attacked that this is happening again and I don't want it to. You want to be able to ask yourself, instead of why is this happening to me, what is this teaching me? Allowing yourself to reflect, ask these questions, and challenge yourself in these answers. Don't just look for the easy way out or deflect or put blame on something or someone else. Start to recognize how you fit into the situation, where you can do better, where you can grow, and where you can challenge yourself to develop this muscle. If you've been feeling like you've been in a cycle of the same pattern, of the same obstacles, this is a great chance to say, how can I do this differently than I did last time? What didn't work last time that I could do this time that would maybe have a different outcome? We know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So start to remind yourself of that when you are looking at these obstacles and hurdles that you feel like you are facing, and start to look at choosing a different outcome by choosing to operate differently. And this is where patience really comes into play. And it's even harder if you are asking for patience, but you have to embrace this journey. I know I talk about this a lot, that there is really no finish line because once you cross one, another race begins. But you really do want to be able to embrace the journey of arriving at that first finish line, of realizing, oh, I handled the situation differently, but being present for that journey is what is going to help you recognize crossing the finish line, help you recognize this new muscle that you have developed, and most importantly, help you recognize that that seed you planted is now in harvest. We all know nothing happens overnight. So by being patient in this process, reminding yourself it takes time, and again, really focusing on progression over perfection will allow you to look at these obstacles differently instead of feeling defeated while you're in the midst of it. It will give you that perspective shift and ideally an energy shift to continue to move forward, to flex and grow these muscles, and to prove to yourself that you can handle these situations differently and arrive at a different outcome. When you are focusing on developing new skills like finding courage or developing discipline or practicing patience, you have to remember to be kind to yourself. None of these things happen overnight, and they are not guaranteed to happen likely in the time that we want them to. Oftentimes, we suddenly arrive without realizing that we have developed this skill, that it becomes our first instinct to respond with kindness, to face the storm head on and continue to pursue and persevere through our dreams and our goals to reach what we want and to become the person that we want to. Like I've said before in my discipline conversations in the discipline series, it is so important to celebrate these little wins. Whether that's just recognizing them in your daily journaling or your monthly reflections, being able to see that you have committed to handling these different challenges differently, that you are working on practicing and developing these muscles, and most importantly, that you are watering that seed that you have planted, you are continuing to tend to your garden, and you are showing up for yourself. No matter what you think is happening in your life, you are given the opportunity to choose your growth and yourself. So instead of thinking that all these things are happening to you that are out of your control and falling into the pits of what often feels like despair when we are faced with challenges, take a moment, slow down, look around yourself, and realize that you are given this opportunity to grow, to overcome these challenges, and to become the person that you want to be, the person who handles challenges with strength, with courage, who faces obstacles without fear, even maybe a little bit fear, but you continue to go forward no matter what. And most importantly, you become the person that you most deeply desire to be. So whatever you are looking at growing, whatever characteristic and trait that you feel like you are missing right now in your life, you are capable of achieving that, and you are capable of growing that muscle, planting that seed, and reaping those rewards. During this time, you are going to feel tired, you are going to want to give up, and you are going to feel overcome with likely weaknesses in ways that you did not realize before. But that's okay. Allow yourself to feel frustrated, upset, angry, whatever the emotions that you have are completely natural and completely reasonable. So allowing yourself to feel those is important. Recognize that those are normal feelings, but then continue to get up and continue on this journey of proving to yourself that you can become courageous, strong, disciplined, patient, whatever it may be, because you are choosing yourself day after day, and you are choosing to look at life and these obstacles differently. It's not going to be easy, and it is something that you are going to have to revisit, unfortunately, more than once in your life. As someone who is constantly working on my patience, I can say this because it is always a test when I start to see my patience fall and I realize I have lost that muscle, I have not been working on it, and I need to refocus in on myself and commit back to the journey that I was once on, that I am now on again. But it is progress and not perfection. It is embracing the journey. It is slowing down. It is resetting your thought processes, reframing these obstacles as opportunities, and you will be able to overcome the pain and the challenges and the struggles along the way and become that person that you want to be. So the next time that you are praying for strength, you are praying for growth, discipline, kindness, whatever it may be, just remember a challenge is coming your way, a test is coming your way, and you are given this opportunity to get that characteristic and that trait that you want. I would love to know what you are working on, whether it is courage, discipline, kindness, compassion, or patience like myself. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you're struggling with. Like I said, this is a journey, and most importantly, you are not on this journey alone. This is something that I have had to face numerous times, and it is always better facing it with others. If you feel more comfortable, you can always DM me on Instagram, on other social media at Ofori-Attah, and I am going to be here to remind you that you can achieve whatever you set out, and you will become the person that you want to be. Thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next one.